All right. Welcome. This is Crystal from Crystal with Love XO. And of course, I have my beautiful co host, Brenda, here today. And we just finished watching Mavs and we decided we needed to come talk about this in real time. So we're going to go ahead and, okay, a couple of people are here. As you guys come in, make sure that you leave an XO in the chat so you know that, so we'll know that you can hear us. I want to make sure I actually need to get my microphone hook back up because I've been doing these without my microphone lately, and I think you can tell the difference. But um, Brenda, both of us were on the in the islands,
Yeah.
and so we did not do last week's Married at First Sight. But then I was like, you know what? It's cool. We'll come back. We'll catch up with today's episode, and I think it's good because today's episode was really interesting. It's a great. Hey, Alicia. Hey, Lady Lynch.
How you
Hello,
go?
hello, everyone. Drop those XOs in the chat and make sure you guys let us know what you thought about tonight's episode. Tonight's episode was a little triggering, I'm sure, for a lot of people. What did you think, Brenda? What was your overall take of tonight's episode?
It was just a roller coaster. I felt like some people were taking things too personally. Some people were like picking fights. Others were like too I guess blunt, you can say.
Yeah.
It was just a mess. Like none of these people like each other.
I agree with you. We texted like I'm right back where I was in the beginning when I said this season sucks. First of all, hey Dana, where is Devon Franklin?
I think that if I hope like someone watches this and sends it to the experts because like we said maybe 2 episodes ago or like in the second episode, the all of the experts need to do like they need to be on the honeymoon, like come the last day or do an immediate like recap, because
Yes,
like we said, that's when everything goes downhill, like immediately after the honeymoon. Once they move in together and they're back in reality, it's not good.
it's not. It's not. I agree. I think Amanda says we need new
We need
experts.
new experts.
I think that I really have high hopes for these new experts. We do have new experts, guys. We have the doc. What's the lady doctor's name? I can't
I
remember her
have
name.
no idea.
I can't remember her name, but we have
Are They are younger though too, so they do give a different perspective.
they do, and we haven't really gotten a chance to see them. I just think they come too late because after that week of honeymoon, I mean, some of the marriages as we've seen in the past are totally doomed. And actually, I feel like a couple may be doomed now. So let's just jump into it. I don't want to wait around. Let's just jump into this tonight's episode. Um, Obviously, the big focus of tonight's episode was Gina and Clint, and we knew this was coming because they teased it. Over the last few weeks, the conversation about Clint um, dating women that were more thin and athletic in his past, and that caused Gina to basically say she does not want to spend time with him. She wants them to spend time apart and not, go back and share the bedroom together. And it also caused the rest of the cast to get upset with Clint, the other ladies to be upset with Clint. Basically, I don't feel like Clint has any friends at this point besides the guys. All the women are angry at him. It's interesting, Brenda, because when I was watching the after show, Keisha asked him, did he feel like it was inappropriate to say in front of a room full of curvy women? And I don't think he was thinking that way, but do you feel like he should have read the room before he made that statement?
I don't excuse me guys, I have a cold. I honestly don't think that he said anything outlandish. I don't think that his verbiage was like disrespectful. He didn't say that she was curvy or too thick. He just said that he's used to like women who were like built basically skinny
Yeah.
is what he was saying. Like skin and bones.
Mhm.
And he didn't that doesn't mean that she's not she's not skinny though. So
No.
she's not obese, she's not fat or whatever the improper terminology may be. I also thought it was extremely hypocritical of her reaction, considering she had told him to his face that he was not her typical type,
Mhm.
prefers redheads, and she was she does not prefer redheads, right? She said.
Yeah.
and she was very outspoken in her delivery. Like, she wasn't necessarily passive about it. You know, she was very assertive in the way in which she said it. So her like reaction to it, and then everyone else's, when they literally all felt the same way, or at least three of the couples felt that they weren't initially attracted to their partners, and expressed it in what I thought was a delicate manner.
Yeah.
It was just crazy. I just feel like she was kind of like looking for an issue with him, and I don't know why. I mean, maybe it could be because she's not physically attracted to him, but to me, it didn't warrant like we need to spend time apart. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with you. I tweeted, I made a tweet like, are we not, um, are we hypocritical as a, as a culture, because everybody just came down so hard on him, but she called him a ginger. And I do know that a lot of redheads don't like that terminology.
yeah, they don't.
She said she did not like gingers, and she said it twice to him. And then somebody said to me, well, he said his statements in front of a group, but we forget she said that in front of his family. She actually told his family when she went to sit down with them right after they were married that she usually does not like, or is not attracted to redheads. So we talked about that, the last time we did a recap. I feel like, if anything, that was inappropriate, even more so than the group, because your family, you really wouldn't say something like that. I just don't even understand who would go to someone's family and say, I'm usually not attracted to people that look like your son, and you just got married. Like, it's weird. I think now Keisha did ask him if he was saying that because,
because of what she said the previous night.
right, because initially he said he was very attracted to her. But what I'm seeing with this show, because even Eris initially seemed very attracted to Jasmine, and then this evening we hear him say that she's not really his physical type either.
Right.
So I think when people see the woman in the wedding dress and they're all made up, it's like, okay, this is nice. They kind of get caught up in the hype of the moment. And then you get with them on that honeymoon and you're able to see them in a bathing suit. You're able to see more of them. And it's like, okay, well, maybe this is not exactly, once that hype of the wedding glow is kind of wore off, then it's kind of like, okay, maybe this is not exactly what I like. But
yeah.
I think,
go ahead. No, I agree with you, but I also think that is a second part to that as well, because I think just because you find someone attractive does not mean that that's your aesthetic that you would normally go for. Right. Like, anyone who knows me knows that I like the blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. Like, but I think Shamar Moore is like a gorgeous man.
right.
But that doesn't mean that I would want to date him or like be with him, because he's not physically what I am attracted to, but I do think that he's a nice looking man. So I just think that it just, attractiveness is subjective.
It is. It is.
None of them thought that the others were not attractive. They just said, "Oh, this is not like who I would typically date." And I think that Eris actually did a good job to me in his explanation. Like, the rating was off. Like, he said that she was a 4. I just don't think people should rate people on the scale, because it's like, that's too much.
Yeah.
But what he said was, he was like, I feel bad because she's a beauty queen.
Yeah.
And it's not that she's not attractive to, it's just that she's not my physical body type. Like, he goes for like a Megan Thee Stallion, like stacked up.
Yeah, he did share.
Yes.
He shared that Megan had a perfect somebody else too. Somebody else.
Serena Williams.
Yes. So that's obviously very different. But I agree. I agree with you. I think people can find, obviously Jasmine's a very pretty girl. But just because you're pretty doesn't mean that that's the flavor that everybody is attracted to.
Yeah.
But so I just feel like everybody was being very, on Twitter, people were very hard on Clint, women especially. And it's like, people have to be able to be honest. Nobody is in outrage. Nobody was outraged when Gina said that about him. Some of the listeners here were, because people were like, yeah, that's hypocritical, because she was going so hard on the fact that he was a ginger and she's not into that and da 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 da. And it's like, she never considered the fact that may hurt his feelings. So tonight, when they were talking, she actually said, well, I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings. But it was like, it didn't feel genuine. It felt like,
she didn't feel sorry.
No.
She said what she meant, and she meant what she said.
She did. She did. I think women just aren't used to hearing it come back at them. I think a lot of times we can say things about men, but we don't think about how it would feel if that came back to us. And I'm just gonna I was so irritated watching the show, watching Kirsten and Shaquille. Shaquille is really nice. I actually feel bad because I made judgments about him. He is a really nice guy. He
But we
really,
always said that he was nice. We just said that we
but
didn't like his flair. That's all we said.
yeah,
That's literally all
but
we said.
I feel bad because he's bending over backwards trying so hard. And Kirsten is, I think she's very spoiled. She comes off as very spoiled. And for him, so tonight, when she said, well, she didn't like he said when he was talking to the guys,
He plays too much or something.
well, she said he plays too much, but then she also said, because he shared it with the guys, that she feels like he's always giving a speech. So
Oh yes,
she was like Martin Luther King. So she doesn't like when he's serious because it comes off as too much.
Mm-hmm.
And then she doesn't like when he jokes. And then she didn't necessarily like going to the school with him. She definitely hates the bald head because she
like
brings
the bald head.
the bald head. So we see him saying like, well, you don't really like me. What do you like? And I actually applaud him for going in this time and actually asking her the real question. Now he chickened out right after that and was like, "Oh, I understand how you feel," but it's like you don't like it when he jokes, when he doesn't joke, there's nothing she likes about Shaquille. She needs to just leave him alone. Like at this point, I feel like this season is we're gonna consistently see him trying and trying to do and trying to fit in a box that he would never be able to fit because she just doesn't like him.
Yeah, it was actually disappointing to me that final scene where they were, she was kind of like picking him apart, and he's like, "Well, what do you like?" I do think that he kind of not snapped out a bit, but he was, he's a little bit more sensitive. So he's like, "So what is the problem?" Like he was like kind of like over talking her, so or interjecting, so she really couldn't like explain it or try to explain it away. So I think that he could have worked on his response to that, but I was disappointed in that whole situation because scenes before that they went on that like dance date, which I thought was first of all out of the box. I hadn't really seen that besides Brianna and Vincent when they
Mm-hmm.
salsa dance class.
Yeah.
So I thought it was appropriate. Like they're in Jamaica, they're taking this Jamaican dance thing together, and it was like to me like a fun way to like break the ice, like not be so stuffy, not be so like produced, because these segments are produced when they're asking each other
Right.
these questions and they're playing these games and etc etc. And I felt like they really both let their guard down in a different way, to the point where she even said like, this is attractive to me because like we're both into this and like he's in his element and he can really move. So I thought that that was cute. So to go from that to what we saw at the end was just like, here we go.
Here we go back. Yeah, I thought it was a cute segment, and I felt like, okay, Shaquille is gonna shine because he obviously likes to dance. But hey, Marriott, but I also feel like I knew it was another opportunity for him to get let down because I feel like he was going to get super excited because he's been looking for an opportunity to connect with her. And I know like she just really is not going to be attracted to him. So even if they do have a moment, I knew that was going to happen, that it wasn't going to be authentic on her end. Because I don't think she's really open. I think the fact that he has a bald head, I think it's more than the bald head. I think it's just him that she does not like, and so she's picking him apart. I thought, and I text you in this scene because it was just so irritating to me when she confronted him after they had the girls' time. She literally went at him like, "Well, I'm going to tell you." Like she came with an attitude. Like, where did that come from? Like, why are you mad at him because of what just happened with Clint? Like she literally unloaded on him.
Yeah.
And he just kind of took it, he tried to stand up for himself a little bit. And I get what you're saying about him being, you could tell he was sensitive. But what I will say, Kirsten has like guy energy, right? Because she immediately was like, well, I'm just done talking about this. I'm not gonna, she just dismissed his emotions. And it was kind of like, oh, wow. So she really is not only is she not attracted to him, but she's also not able to be empathetic because anybody watching could see his feelings were hurt. And so she immediately shut him down. I thought that was kind of, I'm not going to talk about this. I said, basically, I said what I said, and you said that you were able to take constructive criticism, and it's
Really
obvious.
can't. Yeah, she made it like all his issue. It
Mm-hmm.
was also disappointing too because you and I spoke on the last recap that we did about like her kind of having like this extra uptight personality. So to see her like let loose and dance and like swing her hair and like
Yeah.
get really into it was refreshing. And then like she went back to like this like superior attitude when she spoke to him. Like she has like already like a dominant nature, which
Mm-hmm.
is fine. Dear alpha female, maybe she could pick up your book. Um, so I get it because like I feel like I can be assertive, but I just feel like when you're in like a relationship and like when you're communicating with like your partner, your
Yeah.
spouse, that not that you have to suppress it, but you have to take into consideration the other person's feelings.
Right, right. I think as Iyanla said, we can be alpha in our panties. We don't have to, be cruel and hateful. And she has the potential to be a little unkind,
Yeah.
in the way that she handles him. Um, I don't. I mean, I don't have any hope for. I don't think Gina and Clint are going to be able to like come back from that in a real way because I don't really see any. I mean, out of the couples, I like them the most just based on the initial. Yeah, Gina and Clint
Yeah, we
initially,
both said that.
yeah, and now it's like once we got to know their personalities a little bit more, I don't think so. Gina is very kind of set in her ways. She's a little bit older. She's very set in her ways. She's and most importantly, she just made it abundantly clear that she's not attracted to Clint. So at the third time of her mentioning the red hair, and she also said something else that was a trigger. She said that her ex was redhead. So I kind of feel like there's a little bit more connected to why she doesn't like redheads so much. And that probably has to do with that ex.
Yeah.
So I definitely don't see any hope for that couple. I never saw any hope for Shaquille and Kirsten. I knew that wasn't gonna happen. My only hope, and I'll say this today, I hope that Shaquille figures out that she's just not into him and he does not try to beg and appease her the entire season.
I agree. I had hopes for what is her name? Gina and Clint.
Yeah.
Because I feel like separately they have so much substance
Right.
in their personal lives and their professional lives. So on paper, I felt like they were perfect.
Right.
But a lot of times, like when you have like the perfection on paper, like when it meets, it collides. And he's already made it clear that like one, he doesn't trust her intentions. He's like, are you when he said, "Is this a promotion for your salon?"
Yes,
I
yes,
was, I was
yes. I was
oh
like, oh,
yes,
but
because
she does
I
talk about it.
never thought about that
She
because
does talk about it a lot.
she does, but like I also know like women who are like in their age group or and like single, so they normally like talk about their work all the time because that's what takes up majority of their work.
Right.
And then at the end when they had when she blew up, he's like, yeah, she's not here for this. I don't know if that's the case, but that's how he's taking it.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't know it, and I just feel like I would have liked for them to gotten off to a better start at the honeymoon. I
Mm-hmm.
do feel like on paper they're great. Like I think that they both bring a lot to the table
Right.
that they could like kind of balance off of each other, but
Yeah,
not.
I agree. I agree 100%. I think she set the tone off wrong by just being so vocal. I think there's something you don't necessarily need to say everything up front, right? I definitely thought it was wrong that she told his family she wasn't attracted to him. I feel like there was a better way for her to have said it to him. If she felt like she needed to say it, I don't think that's necessary. I think if you're going to be in this process, you need to give it a little bit of time. Give it a little bit more time. Get to know the person, and then if you guys still aren't, but on the second or third day of the honeymoon, that just doesn't make a lot of sense to say I'm genuinely not attracted to people that look like you. That's hurtful, and it's going to like not go someplace good after that.
Yeah, it just irritates me because that's like the whole point of this experiment. Like it's kind of like too like if you get set up for a blind date, Like, you don't
Yeah.
know what the person is going to look like, but are you going to walk out the door because they're not, Kofi Siriboe? Like, no, you don't know what can happen. So
It appears that people come on here thinking that they're going to meet like Kofi or, I don't know, Brad Pitt. I mean, I'm just like, do you guys watch the show? Like, even the people on other shows, it's like they get on and they're upset because the people look like average people. And it's like, anyway, I don't get that. In the same way with Kirsten and Shaquille, like to be that upset to where she has to keep saying the ball head over and over again is too much. It proves that she's very shallow
mhm.
and very like self-absorbed. Like you're not even considering the fact that you could be hurting his feelings.
Yeah, she comes off as like just like superficial to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like a Southern Belle, like a Phaedra Parks. Like she really gives me like the Phaedra Parks vibes.
Yeah, but actually, I mean, that's a whole nother thing. But yeah, I think honestly, like I said before, I think she comes off more as the beauty queen type. Like, everything has to be her way. She actually, Jasmine is one of my favorites this season because she's really down to earth. She's Now I don't know about them 13 dogs at the house, but I do think that she comes off as being very honest and authentic and aware of the other person. What do you think about the two of them? So obviously their issue so far is the fact that Eris told her that he's never fallen in love before. And not only has he never fallen in love before, but he was in a relationship for a year and a half and wasn't in love with that person. That is the part that would scare me, not the part that he had fallen in love, but the fact that you could be in a relationship for so long
Yeah,
just existing.
the falling in love thing is not ever like a red flag to me, no matter what age, because I just feel like the older you get, like if you look back on situations, you can think that you were in love and you realize it was like infatuation. Like, you stay in certain relationships for different reasons. So, and especially for men, like, and mama's boys, like Eris is, like, so no, I'm not, that doesn't shock me. Even
Yeah.
honestly, the year and a half thing with him specifically didn't shock me because of his like playboy bachelor-esque lifestyle, right? Like,
Mhm.
he's never lived with a woman, right?
Never live with a woman.
Right, he's never lived with the woman. He's probably always dated multiple women at a time. Like, I doubt he was just with this one girl for a year and a half.
Right. Right.
So,
Well, he did admit that he cheated at the end before he told her.
yeah, so
Oh,
that doesn't shock me with him. What would have been a turnoff for me was like the sex talk. Like, we've known each other for 2 days, and you like, what's your favorite sexual position? Like, that was not what the producers told you to ask me.
no. Oh no. And he's been even what he said with the guys, which she wasn't privy to, but even saying like
He wanted to blow her back out.
lower back out, and then what would you say if you could say something? I think it was like get on your knees. It was just like he's a lot, but I also think, just to give him the benefit of the doubt, um I think with men it really is more about when they're ready, right? So they can meet an amazing woman, a few amazing women, but if they're not ready, then they're not going to connect with that one because it's about them. When they do get ready, it's almost like any woman that comes around at that point.
Yeah, they'll gravitate towards and
Yeah,
will, treat like make the other women in their lives pissed that they've
like
had previously. Like, where was this person? Yeah,
yeah,
I
yeah.
agree.
It's
I
all about when they're ready, but I just don't think that he's really ready though. From his comments, from the sex comments, even from how if you guys watch when they're talking, he seems very disconnected. Like, even when you can tell that she's upset and she's showing emotion when they have the conversation about
yeah, when
her
she's
falling.
visibly uncomfortable, he just keeps going.
Yeah, and he doesn't seem to connect at all and be like, oh well, let me let me reassure her. He doesn't do that. So when she said, well, I fall in love easily, he was like, well, I think everybody should pump the brakes. Like, he's not aware of, he doesn't have enough awareness, I think, that would show me that he was really ready to be in a serious relationship, let alone be somebody's husband. He just doesn't have that. Mm-mm, mm-mm.
Yeah, we talked about this the last time that it would have to be a lot of like patience and teaching on her part, because I was literally just about to say, well, it would be helpful if she would verbalize, like, why are we having this conversation about sexual positions? Like, she kind of just makes a face and blows it off, and then just brings it up like, yeah, I told the girls, that about the falling in love thing, and I told them this, but she's not saying it to him, and she probably feels like she shouldn't have to.
Or I think she's probably shocked because I don't think she expected, especially got to think about it. She doesn't know him. He's saying things that are like out of left field, and they're doing it on camera. So it's kind of like she's probably aware of the fact that her reaction is being filmed. So, it because every time he says something, you could tell he's just messing with her, and she's just like shocked. Now, I also tweeted earlier, I did not like the fact, I feel like a lot of times guys will play a game if they know a girl is not ready to have sex, and they'll try to switch the role, switch the dynamic, right? So I'm going to act like I don't want you so that
you'll want me. Yeah, I definitely think he's doing that.
And I feel like it's working
because she's weaponizing it.
Exactly. She immediately said, "Oh, I don't want to feel like he doesn't want me." Like that immediately happened. And I feel like I was like, he's doing that. He's doing the mind games because he threw out the conversation about sex every single day, every single episode.
And when she didn't react in the way that he wanted her to, he's going to use it against her. I'm going to act like I'm not attracted to you at all.
Yep. And I hate that. That is the worst. And she's young. She's young, so she doesn't know the game. So she's just like, oh, I feel bad. So we can see that it's wearing on her self-esteem because she's like, I don't want him to not be attracted to me. She brought it up to the other ladies. And I don't think, Marriott, you say he really isn't ready. He is definitely playing with her. But I think that's all he knows because we know that he's been a player. So that's how players operate. They manipulate, they play games. They make you not trust yourself, right?
So and that is why he is 39 and single and could probably continue to be and will be lonely.
Yeah, eventually.
So that's on him.
Yeah. I think she said she can do better. I think she can. I think it's, she's attracted to him and you can tell she really wants to make it work. I think there are other issues with the two.
And he put 20 on 10 when he was talking to the guys. When he was like, my attraction is at a 4 and hers is at a 12. I did not get 12 vibes from her at all.
Yeah, 12. 12 was that was a stretch. I forgot about that. 12 was a stretch. Yes. But he should know. I don't care who you are. If you say a 4 is below average. There's no way. Well, if that's what he sees it as, whatever. But there's no way for you to be able to be okay, for her to be able to be okay with him in a relationship if she sees this back and he says that she's a 4. Not going to happen. Like, there's just no way to come back from that. That's worse than saying I prefer women that are thin and athletic. The 4 is way, way worse. Like, yes. That's ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous. All right, let's talk about Nicole and Chris. We didn't see a whole lot of them on tonight's episode, but we did see Nicole react to Clint. And then people were kind of talking about Nicole's New York personality, which was interesting. Chris is passive aggressive, and I feel like he's showing signs that he thinks he likes this, but I don't think he's going to be able to handle that personality. What the rest of the guys were saying, I think it is amplified by the fact that they know Chris is probably not going to be able to stand up to her because they were trying to give him advice on how to deal with her.
I don't know, because I actually feel like what I have seen of them so far as a group, out of all the other couples, I like. Like, yes, I guess they would be my number one or my only choice at this point.
Right.
I do think that personality wise, it's two different extremes. Like, he's a people pleaser. He really wants to be in love. He really wants a wife. He really wants to cater to his wife. And she is like a fiery princess. And like, they both want love. And I think that it can be dangerous at a point for them.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping that the experts do their job and helps them like balance it out or figure it out.
Yeah.
I do think that they have potential, and from what spoilers I know, they're the only couple that says yes.
Yeah. Yeah. You said that.
They're allegedly still together.
I could see that because you do see that they're doing the work. I did think it was interesting that he said he talked about him not wanting to have sex. And I wasn't surprised to hear him say that, but I was surprised to hear him say he was in a relationship where they had sex 3 times in a year and a half. That
But
says,
that goes back to what you spoke about the last time, is that he doesn't pick up on signs of like when a woman is like using him,
yeah,
his kind-hearted nature. And
yeah.
the fact that they're getting flued out and
And she didn't want to hold your hand.
getting lavish dinners. Like, that's why, Chris.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And also, he doesn't stand up for himself because for him to be in a relationship, him to stay in a relationship for 3 years with someone that well, for a year and a half with someone
I thought he said a year.
no, a year and a half, 3 times in a year and a half. That means that he doesn't stand up for his own needs. He'll just stay in there and keep going. If you guys are just joining us, we are recapping the most recent episode of Married at First Sight. So far, we have basically solidified our beliefs that none of these couples are going to work, with the exception of perhaps Nicole and Chris. And that's due in part halfway to a spoiler and just the fact that they are the only couple that seem to be working, actually talking and communicating in a semi-healthy way. Everybody else to me is very strange right now.
I think that their desperation to be in a relationship makes them good at trying.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. And both of them seem to have, like, you're right, I don't want to say desperate, but both of them are unique individuals that may not be a fit for a lot of other people. Because I definitely think Nicole's personality, it takes a special type of guy to be able to gel with her. And obviously there's more to Chris than we're seeing, because for him to have some of these issues, there's a lot going on there too. So the only couple that we have to talk about still is Dominique and McKinley, which I really
not like McKinley at all. She can't stand that man.
she does not like him. Her and her mother
worse than Shaquille and Kirsten, whatever her name is. Dominique hates him.
She definitely does not like him at all. I don't know if it's worse than Kirsten, because I don't that they may be about the same. They may be about the
same. Like I said, has that Phaedra Parks nice nasty. Like, she'll put on a front or try to mask it at least. Dominique does not like him.
She doesn't.
I do not think that man complained that much.
He did not. No, he did not. You're right. She did not like him, and she's looking for every reason to use as a defense of why this is not going to work out. She also, her and her mother, she's 25, so it's not even like it's uncommon for her to have that type of relationship. But I do think her mom, I think it's weird on her mom's part. Like, if my daughter got married, I would talk to my daughter, of course, because we have a close relationship. But her mother is very much the type that wants to get involved and be like controlling in the marriage. And that's weird.
Intrusive. But did I miss something? Because I don't understand why she doesn't like him. She listed off the reasons tonight. Like, he complains. He complains. He jokes too much.
And he was not
what I missed.
He was not as attractive. She gave him a 6, but I feel like she was not being honest with that. I feel like she wanted to be like Eris and say a 4. I feel like she gave him a 6, because even when she said it, it was like, she's not attracted to him at all. She's not attracted to him at all. But I don't know why the mother even doesn't like him, because you guys signed up for this show. And I feel like there had to be something in the conversation with Dominique that made the producers actually pick a Caucasian man, right? Her mother has been married to Caucasian men. So there had to be something. They wouldn't have just done that with no prompt. I just don't
think Caucasian. I couldn't see her with a white man. I'm sorry. With
black man.
A black man or a man of color at all. I could not see that.
Well, she hasn't been. It's obvious she's not been raised around that, but or at least in her immediate family. But I'm just shocked as to why she has this response to him. Now he does seem a bit littler than her, or at least not. I mean, she's a tall girl, and like she said tonight, she's a thicker girl, and maybe he's not her type as far as size. Because I don't think he's unattractive. He just
I don't think he's unattractive either. And then it's also interesting because there's a 9-year age gap between them, right? I think she's 25 and he's 34.
Yeah.
And she is just like very serious.
Yeah.
And
demanding.
Yeah, it's just really weird. Like I'm like, where does this energy and personality come from? Because
mother spoiling you. Because she's like, okay, basically trying to make him do everything that
she wants.
Yeah.
Like she's like, I'm gonna take no SHIT type of person. It's either you're gonna do it or you're not. And it's like, what does this have to do with him not wanting to do 7 excursions in one day? All the man said was, I normally don't have like a jam-packed itinerary.
Right.
He's like, it's not that I don't want to do it. It's just that for me, this is typically a lot in one day. And she was so offended by that.
Which is weird because, I mean, most guys I know don't like that. Like most men, when you go on a vacation with a guy, the woman is like...
anything. The woman plans, yes, that is me, okay? Kevin don't want to do nothing.
Neither does Adrian. He's like, we're on vacation. We're supposed to be on vacation. And I'm like, we need to do this.
I'm like, this is vacation. Like, let's go jet skiing.
That's right. But it's, and he'll be like, okay, we can go jet skiing. So then the next time,
that's the one activity for the day.
And he won't want to get up and do it early in the morning. Like, we have to go to the 10 o'clock. The what? No.
Yeah, like that's how I am. Like I'm like, we'll get up, we'll have breakfast outside, like Ocean View, we'll get massages at 1, we'll go here at 4. Like, so that is not uncommon for him to have that reaction.
Yeah, it's not.
It wasn't like I've seen men like physically upset on these things, like to where like the vibe is just like the woman doesn't want to do it. He didn't give me that.
No, I didn't either. I feel like he's trying to make her happy. And the thing about it, like both Dominique and Kirsten are complaining about Shaquille and McKinley joking. The reality is they're trying to impress them. That's what they're doing right now. They don't know them very well. They're trying to make men know that if they can make a woman laugh, they can connect with her. And they're trying to make them laugh. So when you say he's corny, I don't like his jokes, I don't like when you're joking, like you're just taking away his, like, he may not be as corny.
He's trying to court them.
Yeah, like, God. We have got to stop. And this is why the book is here, guys. This is why I have written this book. Though women have got to understand, if the man is doing, is telling jokes, a lot of times, I'm not gonna lie, of course all the jokes aren't funny, but the reality is,
you gotta learn how to act like selective listening, girl. Like,
just
go one ear and out the other.
Yeah, and probably will calm down once he knows it'll calm down. Yeah, it's that's and I feel like that's something that, just in being polite, like, okay, well, maybe your jokes aren't funny to him.
And they're not even trying to joke. It's like the women aren't even trying to joke back. It's like, it's not even, it's nothing worse than like being around someone that's that uptight. Like you literally feel like you're like walking on eggshells, or like everything you do is going to be picked apart. And it's like, what the heck is the problem?
Yeah. I think a lot of women are like that. I know I've probably been like that when I'm stressed out or something, but I think that you have to learn how to think, okay, how is this affecting the other person? And that's not, even if you don't want to be with him, you still don't have to go out of your way to be a bitch. Like, you just don't. You do not. Druzy says, I just smile, tell my husband he's silly, and keep it moving. Exactly. It's not, the jokes are not going to hurt you. Now, even if they are being overly silly, I may just rub Adrian on the back, like,
that's how I feel too. Like, I'm always like, how does this really like affect me or upset me? Like, it really doesn't. Like, let them be them.
And it's coming from a good place. That's my problem with Shaquille. And Kirsten is like, even if you don't like him, but all he's doing is being so attracted to you. All he's doing is thinking that you're beautiful. Is it really that bad that this man is being kind to you? Now, if you don't like him, that's something you can work out. But treating him in a snobby way when all he's doing is trying to be kind to you really shows more about your character than his. I don't like that. And I think even with Gina, I don't think she was trying to be hypocritical, but I think hopefully if she watches this back and you can see how you just sat there and went on and on about how you had an ex that was this way, you tell his people that you're not into that. I'm really not. And he had not said anything like that to her. Then you get upset when he says something. It's like women have to take a step back and realize that a lot of times we are used to dishing it out. We're not used to taking it. And that's not fair. That's not fair.
Yes, because that really proved to be the case with Clint and Gina, because that whole tantrum that she had.
Child. That but again, it was a way out. And I think a lot of times I can say I used to be a runner. At the first sign of something not going my way, I would run. And that's what she did by throwing up. I feel like we should not spend time together on the honeymoon. It's like,
especially if you've been through like real ish,
right,
okay?
right.
Like, just from conversations that you and I've had. So it's like, I ain't about to waste time. Like, I'm not about to like let this progress into something that's just going to get worse. Like,
Right.
And then a lot of times, like, women feel like because they have been through things, like if you don't check it now,
Right.
like, you give them an inch, they'll take a mile type of thing. And it's not always the case. Like, you guys are literally just getting to know each other.
Right. And it's also not your job to be the relationship police.
Mm-hmm.
So like with Kirsten, like, and Kirsten and Dominique, it feels like they are saying it's my way. And I think that's what we see McKinley saying next week or on an upcoming episode. Like, it's literally your way or no way. And that's how you're saying it. Like, oh, he needs to do this. He needs to, what do I like? What do I want to hear more of? Like, you are not the only person in the relationship.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Even Kirsten, whatever that girl's name is, when they were on the beach and he's like, yeah, we have to come back here in a few years and take these dance classes again. And she's like, yeah, I'm gonna hold you to it. Make sure you remember that. It's like, girl, you don't know how to plan a trip. Like, what?
right. And it's like they're constantly trying to prove, but I think that's a problem with our culture a lot of times. Just women feel like even how we saw Dominique's mother and her aunts talking about, we don't know, he could be a serial killer. Well, if you thought that there could be a serial killer on the show, then you should sign your dad up
for it. Yeah.
But you coming in acting like we're going to show him, we're going to put him through, we're going to grill him, we're going to do that. All that attitude is lame to me, because you would be upset if that was done to your daughter. And as a boy mom, I'm just as wary about girls dating my son as I am about guys dating my daughter. Like, I don't want either one.
I have a brother, a 25-year-old fine ass brother, okay? And he is spoiled. He is a mama's boy. He is a sister's boy. But, that's our baby. And we understand that he's 25 with no kids. He got a good little salary and job. He has a brand new car that he brought himself. And we know that there are some girls that will want to latch onto that. There are some trifling women out here.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Absolutely. So it's like, I would not be, if I was watching the show and my son was Shaquille with a Kirsten, I would be
disgusted. Like, she
yes. And Drew says it's especially ridiculous after having signed up for math. Absolutely.
It is called Married at First Sight. Like,
and you know that you're going to have to go through a process. It's not like I come down the aisle, I see if I like the person. If I'm not attracted to them, I'm done.
I can leave. Yeah.
That's not the process. It's supposed to be, I'm here regardless if Denzel Washington is at the other end or Eddie Griffin.
Flavor Flav. Okay. Oh, it is
even worse.
It is an arranged marriage.
It is an arranged marriage. And obviously the experts have no clue of what people are attracted to or not. Like, even when people give them their celebrity crush, they never, ever come close to that. Never. Mm-mm. So I don't know. I don't have, I would like to see the one couple, Chris and Nicole, stay together, just because I feel like both of them want love. And if they could be that for each other, that would be great. But I still feel like long term, that's going to be a long shot, because she is a fiery princess, and I think that in order for that to work, she's going to really have to do a lot of self work. And then she's going to have to come down and relax a little bit. And he's really going to have to build himself up because it doesn't seem like he has the self esteem to actually like stand up for himself. You know, it just doesn't feel like that. So, and I'm over these married at first sight couples that get through decision day and then break up right after that. I'm over it.
Yeah, me too.
Over it, Stasha and Nate. I'm over it. Like, foolishness. We knew that mess wasn't going to work. So, all right. Well, we have recaps, you guys. Thank you for hanging out. Whether Idris or Flava Flav, that is your husband. You're right, Druzy, and that is a hell of a dilemma. That is a hell of a dilemma. If you are expecting Idris and you get that is one hell of a letdown. But you have to know those are the odds. This could either go really bad or really good. And
women have said that like Flav has been like their best boyfriend. Like,
yikes.
Yeah, interesting. They gotta work a little harder.
Yikes is all I can say. Yikes, yikes, yikes. Well, thank you guys for hanging out tonight. We just decided to do a quick recap. Now, Brenda and I have to come back because
Potomac, okay?
We have to talk about Potomac. Potomac, I feel like we should have done that one first, but it was Married at First Sight night, so we were respectful to Lifetime. But guys, we have got to come back and talk about Potomac. I don't even know. I'm hoping, Brenda,
we should probably just do it after each reunion airs.
We should because we have to do this in real time because this is explosive. What I'm hoping is that before Sunday, and I don't know if they're going to start Sunday. Are they going to
Sunday?
Right, because Super Bowl is this Sunday, but it work. So we'll do it next Sunday, unless something else happens
before
that. Because
let's confirm that Robin is fired, which we are hoping happens.
or unless this mistress reveals herself.
Well, she kind of already did.
No. The visuals. I want the visuals. I feel like she's
going. I doubt that the visuals are going to be anything like, with all due respect, spectacular. Like, we know how it is.
I agree. But I think they will be. Well, first of all, I just want to see the visuals because I want to get I want to see if she looks like Karen. I want to see if she looks like Karen.
Well, she is a Karen from her voice.
Right. She's definitely a Karen, which I figured anyway with Juan. I wasn't surprised about that with Juan at all. But I just feel like I want her to make an appearance. This calling in on the phone and having a conversation it's lame. If you're gonna do it, then do it. And I'm ready for her to come out and make an appearance before next Sunday.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm hoping that happens. If that happens, we're gonna have an emergency live. An emergency live because everyone has been chatting about it. There are two different women. So there are two different women.
Two different women who are telling this cheating story. I did hear Robin did say that the girl who is going around doing interviews is not the girl that he was with or something like that. And I'm like, oh, so they both happen to be from Canada. Like, I never believe anything.
I don't believe anything at this point. And you guys know I was Team Robin for that one episode and that did not age well.
Only 1 week, girl.
Oh, so it's two different women? Lord.
No, she's saying that the one that Karen saw him out with in Georgetown is not the lady from Canada.
But I'm just saying, we'll see, because as we've seen with TJ Holmes, there's a fourth woman now that has come out with TJ. So anything could happen with this Juan, Robin, Mistress Karen situation. Anything could happen in the next week and a half. So I'm here for it. I'm here for a sighting. I'm here for somebody to offer a bag and get somebody up on their platform, and we'll be talking about it. So you guys we'll wait until after the Potomac reunion. We'll be prepared with you with your mocktail. I will have a cocktail because I can't wait to talk about this. This is ridiculous. I don't even want to say anything else because it's absolutely ridiculous. So we'll talk about it then. So, all right, my love. Well, I thank you for hanging out, Miss Brenda, and thank you guys for hanging out with us. And we will be back next Wednesday with more Married at First Sight. And then after that, that following Sunday, we will come back and talk about Potomac. And that will definitely be quite a show. Quite a show. All right. Good night. Y'all. We'll see you next time. Bye.